Hello, hello. Okay. Hello. I'm gonna wait till it's 3:05. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Okay, wait. I'm gonna wait just so no one thinks I missed anything until it's 3:05. But hello, hello, Kirsten. Hello. I am saying it's Kirsten, not Kristen, correct?
No, it's Kirsten.
Oh, sorry, Kirsten. I'm sorry. I should know that. Okay, I will never.
Okay.
I will never get that wrong again, except the next 42 times. Okay, no, Kirsten. Okay, hello, Kirsten. Hello, Sarah. Hello, wait. Oh, sorry. Hello, Anthony. Hello, Stephen. Hello. Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh, hello, Ashley. Hello, Jose. Hello, Olsmael. Hello. And am I saying that right? Sorry. Yeah. Well, okay, we'll find out in a minute. Hello, Tobias. Hello. More people are coming. Okay. Hello, Jose. Or did I say that? All right, hold on. I'm going to do those hellos. Sorry. Osmael, am I saying it right? I'm
Yes,
not.
you are.
I am. Oh, amazing. Okay, great. Again, I'm only going to ask you that 400,000 times, but okay, no good. If nothing else, the goal here really is for me to get your names right by the time of physics 204. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll get it before that. Okay. All right. So I said hello, Kirsten. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Anthony. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Jose. Hello, Tobias. Hello, Gianna. Hello, Abdelraham. Hello. Hi. All right. Who else? Okay. Then also, hello, Montserrat. Hello, Sumaya. Again, please tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Hello, Michaela or Kay, or Kay, as I think maybe her email says, or something like that. But okay, whatever. That's probably not my business. Hello, Brian. Hello, Jasmine. Hello, Brianna. Who else we have here? Oh, hi. Oh, cool. Awesome. Wait, and now I'm going to go to the chat. I think that's everybody in the visuals. I think. Oh, did I say Brian? I'm sorry. Hello, Brian. I'm not sure if I said I'm beyond. Okay, now the chat. And again, if you're wondering, oh yes, it will be this cheesy every time. But no, every time there's going to be more time spent on physics, less time spent on this. Each time it'll be more and more, it'll look more and more like physics every class, but it's a slow progress. And then it's going to get to the point where it's so much physics and math that you wish you were back to this. But anyway, now I'm going to do the chat. Hello, Brian. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Tobias. Hello, Jose. Hi, Osmael. Osmael. Sorry. Hello. I should make a new rule that every time I stutter over someone's name, I have to stutter over my own too. Yaverbaum, Cadaver Town. Okay. Sumaya. Oh, just trying to fix the sound. No problem. Oh, thank you for saying so. Okay, no problem. Got you. And K or K. And you could tell me to be saying K or I guess that's what you're telling me. You are telling me I should be saying K. Okay. I said Montserrat. Hi. I like the hands. It's awesome. Your wife. Okay, Sumaya, thank you for telling me. Awesome. And literally, so I'm making fun of myself. What I'm about to say, I'm not making fun of Sumaya, but Sumaya's thing says my Wi-Fi is acting up. So if I randomly leave and rejoin the Zoom, that's why, which I totally understand. And thank you for telling me, but I read it fast. I totally thought it said my wife is acting up. So if I randomly leave, and I was like, whoa, well, throw your wife under the bus there, man. Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, but okay, no, that was not your wife, and it's not my wife. Okay, now your sound is good. Hello, that's awesome. Hi, Mariam. I know you corrected me on this.
That's correct.
It is correct. Okay.
Mariam.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, LOL. Oh, yes. Thank you for that. Okay, cool. Oh, LOL reminds me something I'm going to tell you guys in a second too. But anyway, all right, good. Hello. Again, I know these whole hellos are all cheesy and everything, but it's all about trying to make this a more human experience. We're going to keep. Oh, sorry. What just happened? Ah. But more people are coming in. Sorry, the board is freaking out. Oh, no, I'm freaking out. Okay, there's the board. In fact, here's the board. Okay, here's the board. We are going to use the board today. Like, in fact, today's board will be 7 pages long. Oh, someone is, oh, hold on. I see the chat. Wait a minute, is attempting to join. Oh, thank you, direct chat person. Got it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, JJ Wi-Fi, don't even get me started. Oh, what a disaster. Okay, I got you. Thank you. And again, if someone does, so someone's helping their friend who's trying to get in, if ever there was a real problem, like we talked about, like if nothing else, please do remember as you're seeing, like, I mean, I think you should be here. Being here is good, but if there ever is a thing that occurs, the whole class is recorded and then posted and dropped into your Google Classroom. So you can always watch the class afterwards also. I'm not saying leave for that reason, but it should never be a crisis, hopefully. But anyway, okay, so I said hello to everybody, I think. Oh, hello, Jocelyn. Good to see you. Okay. All right, so we're all here. It's gonna start feeling like more like class today. Every class will feel more like class, hopefully, or more like what you expect out of physics or something, hopefully. We're still getting ourselves warmed up and ramped up. It's still very important to me that you know what's important to me before before anybody gets shocked with some bad grade or something like that. So forgive me if a lot of things that are still happening the first few days are like me pointing out the kinds of things that we want to happen even. So, and I know more people are joining now. Hold on a second. More people are joining. And again, thank you for those of you who are showing video. Oh, hang on one second. Yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, sorry, hold on one second. Thank you for telling me. This is what I kind of didn't want to happen while I was teaching. Wait, pardon me for a second. No, I understand. Thank you for telling me. You did the right thing. Can you, hold on, okay, hold on, but I am in the middle of the class, so hold on. So do me a favor, I'll like, okay, say hello for a second.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
I'm Son. I have no idea what just came up on my screen. Give me 1 second. Oliver, where are you down here? I am back. It has been going successful with the Pokemon League. That is for sure. Hey, Dad, something came up on your screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now can you please close the door behind you?
Oh, we
Thank you,
will.
sir. Okay. Hello, sorry. I apologize. Let me see what's happening in the chat. So did I mention I have a family and my family has a dog and 3 fish. Teach the class. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Precious. Thank you. Send him back. But believe me, he will come back, as will the dog, I'm sure. Sorry, but thank you. You're very kind. I just remember that part about my Wi-Fi. My wife is acting up. Okay. There is a wife, by the way. She's not here right now. If she were, I would be teaching more successful. Okay. Let me just regroup. Sorry. You will see him again, I'm sure. I totally have to. Okay. Send him back. Believe me, he will come. Oh, someone else is joining, or more people are joining. Sorry, but you're being very kind. You're being very. Wow, I usually can regroup more quickly. I didn't expect that to happen on our second class. That's the, okay. What is going to happen today? First of all, as usual, not just him, but you, more importantly, you will please interrupt me at any moment that you have any question at all about this class, about anything I'm saying, about anything I said 5 minutes ago, about anything I said 2 days ago. In fact, I'm remembering now that when this class ended at 4:20 on Monday, there was still some stuff in the chat that I didn't get to. I remember there was at least one good question in the chat that I almost meant to email that person and I didn't. There was at least one question that went unanswered in the chat. So please, and I think there was at least one person I did email and say, remind me of this on Wednesday. So you don't have to wait for it to be topical. Like we're here at the stage of the class where we're trying, I want you to have as few surprises of what I'm expecting as possible. So anything that didn't get answered last time or anything that you're thinking right now, please interrupt at any moment to ask, okay? I do have an agenda for today. You'll find out in a minute, but it's okay. I also know, I do know for a fact that something we didn't get to at the end of last time. I never finished explaining to you, I don't think, all of these points that you get for doing homework and for doing class participation, all the participation game things, which we're going to continue to talk about and continue to reinforce. Or you tell me, but I don't think I told you like how all those points add up or where they go or how they fit into your average. In fact, let me pause. The main point of today is we're going to start going over the homework and talking about the actual homework, like the homework that was due today, number line is what we're going to start talking about today. That's the goal, and we will, and it will look like physics. And as I say, there's 7 pages of notes ready to go on the whiteboard. So trust me, it will start feeling like physics, sort of, but I do feel like I didn't finish explaining that. Am I right? Can you let me know, like a show of electronic engineering? Did I explain like how the grades, the points work for, no, I did, or that means, so the X means no, I did not. Okay. And the thumbs up means I should, briefly but not in full, I think. Okay, that's fair. I'm still confused on it. Oh, that's totally fair. Well, that's okay. So even if I did say it, if you're still confused, okay. So forgive me, I'm going to explain for a couple of minutes now. No, and I appreciate your honesty. And by the way, my grading system is a little bit confusing. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be a hide the ball thing at all. But it is complicated for reasons that you'll see. So, oh, good one. Wait a minute, something in the chat. I'm looking if that's private. That's hilarious. Okay, good. I want to address that. No, good. So good if you got a 5 and a 5 on the game. I'm going to explain exactly what that means. I'm going to explain the grading system right now, hopefully. And it may take you, some people don't even really fully get it or fully appreciate it until Physics 204. For whatever it's worth, it is the exact same system in Physics 204. It is so, so hopefully you do get it by then, but it's not meant to be secretive. It's not meant to be an IRS tax code or something like that. And I think it is even in the syllabus, but it is a little bit complicated, and I'll tell you why. So I'm happy to explain it as many times as you need. You 3 days from now, if someone says I still don't get it, it's fine, and tell me, and I'll re-explain. But here's the deal. Let me just change the view on the thing. First of all, yes, any of you who turned in that game assignment, if you turned it in by midnight of that night, then hopefully you did get it back by today, and hopefully you got if you turned it in by midnight, then you got a 5, and you did it right. Whatever you did, if you got a 5, then that's what you're going to do every single time. All I'm asking on that game turn is to jot down a reminder of some way that you participated in the class that day. It could even be just that you said hello in the chat for real, like or goodbye or whatever. And I'm not asking for proof. I mean, sometimes the screenshots do just make it easier for you or for me, but it's not about proving it. It's about just reminding you, okay, of just some way that you participated. And as long as you jot down some way that you participated, or you put in the screenshot and you circled it or whatever, and you turned it in by midnight, then you get those 5 points. And what I really need to explain in a moment is like, where did those 5 points go? What do they do for you? I will explain that. But also, just a side note, if you didn't turn it in by midnight, if you turned it in a couple hours later the next day, but you did it right, then you get 4 points. Okay, I do encourage you to turn it on time. What? Sorry. Okay. So I am I'm more strict about the timing of those than I am about a lot of things, because once you get into the rhythm and you see, they're not meant to be stressful to do. They should take like 1 minute. They're just a minute of reflection on that day in class. So as long as you do it by midnight, you get all 5 points. If you do it after midnight, you get 4 points. If you wait a couple of days, then just don't even bother. It's not worth it. And you can't like wait to the end of the semester and do them all. That defeats the whole purpose. So if you got that, if you did that thing and you got 4 or 5 points, great. I'm about to now tell you where those points go, but also let me say before I go any further. Oh, now I'm going to say a lot about this just because there's a good question in the chat and I want to honor it. Kristen's question in the chat. I'm going to say a lot about Kristen. So Kristen's question in the chat is, am I grading the homework which is due today based on correctness? Very good question. So let me back up for a second. First of all, like every day in class, due for midnight of that day, there's that quick game turn thing that we just all addressed. And that there's like no correct or incorrect. You just do it and you get, sorry, and you, oh my God, and you get the 5 points. Now, the bigger homeworks, the homeworks that look more like physics, the quantitative problem solving homeworks, such as number line and average speed, which were both due today and which were worth, as you might have noticed, up to 20 points for the number line and up to 35, I think. I might have the numbers wrong, but they're worth more than 5 points. They're worth like 20 or 35 points or something like that. So in the long run, of course, they add up to making more of a difference in your grade. So it's, and they look more like real physics. So it's very, very fair and legitimate to ask, do I grade them based on correctness? In a way, the simple answer is, the short answer is no. Correct answers are not the grading criterion for those homeworks. That's the simple answer, or the short answer is correct answers are not the grading criteria for those homeworks. The more complicated answer is the entire class that we're going to have today, where I'm going to start going over that homework and I'm going to start showing you exactly what I'm looking for. Because the more complicated answer is that what I'm looking for is for you to show a lot of work, and what I'm actually grading on in a way is the work. And it's possible to show all the work, still get the wrong answers and get all the points. It is. So let me say that again. It is possible to show all the work, get the wrong answer and still get all the points. It is possible. In fact, encouraged. On the other hand, it's also possible to get the right answer, but not show any work and not get all the points. Okay. So to be really clear on exactly what you're getting points for, that's what I'm going to spend most of today explaining, exactly what I mean by work and showing it. That's what I'm going to show you today. So let me so what some of you are going to find, perhaps a bunch of you, and I'm going to name names in a second, a bunch of you turned in that homework already, which is great. I mean, it was due today, so I'm glad you did. You should have, but it was technically due at the beginning of this class. So I certainly haven't like graded it or anything. A bunch of you turned it in on time. That's great. I'm going to actually thank you and acknowledge you publicly in a second for doing that. But sorry, things are happening. So a bunch of you did it. I'm going to acknowledge you and thank you for doing that in a moment. Now we're going to start going over it today. We're not going to finish going over it. You'll see why. We're not going to finish, but we're going to start. I'm going to start showing you what it is I'm looking for in that homework. Some of you who did it and who even got correct answers are going to find that I'm looking for certain things that you didn't know that I was looking for. Okay, that's what you're going to find today. That what I'm looking for is pretty specific, and it doesn't have to do so much with right answers. It has to do with the process of doing work. So some of you today are going to find, wait, I did it on time. I even think I get it, like I got the right answers. And yet, if he wants me to do all this blah, blah, blah stuff that he's saying today, then I probably didn't get a 20 on this. You might think that today. Some of you might not, in fact, get a 20 on it, even if you got all the right answers. But here's the longer version of the answer to Kristen's very good question is, first of all, especially on this homework, on this first one and on the second one, I'm telling you right now, if you learn things today about the way I want it, that you didn't do it, you absolutely can redo it. And like you can redo it, resubmit, even before you get the grade back if you want. You can resubmit, someone else is here, and get all the points. All of you are going to get all 20 points on this homework if you want to, even if it takes you 3 submissions or a full week, 2 weeks or whatever. So that's a promise right now. All of you are going to get 20 points on this first homework if you want to, even if it takes you a number of resubmissions. And you won't be penalized for resubmitting, and you won't be penalized for being late. Even, I'm going to go a step further. I'm even going to say, I think someone else just joined, but I can't find who it is. Sorry. I'm also even going to say that even some of you didn't even for whatever reason get it in on time for today. I mean, and you do want to do these homeworks on time and you want to do them before I go over them for 1,000 reasons. It'll make you better on the exams and all that. But I'm going to say even right now, even if you didn't do the homework yet today for whatever reason, you still can do it. You still should do it. And even if it's late, at least for this one, and you can even use today's class to help you do it if that's what you need. And it's not cheating. Every single one of you, even if you haven't done it yet, is going to have a chance to get all 20 points on it so that we can all know what it is I'm looking for on these homeworks. In the future homeworks, the same rule will apply that you get the points for doing the method of showing all the work that I'm going to show you today. So on homeworks, it's not about ultimately the correct answer, really. Although if you do the whole method that I'm recommending, you'll find it'll be easier and easier to get the right answers. But so my short or my medium answer is you're not being graded for correct answers on the homeworks as such. And it's always possible to get all the points, even if you don't have the correct answers. That's definitely true. And it will always be possible on homeworks, always, to resubmit and get more points after you learn things. That'll always be true. It's just that it's going to be harder and harder for you guys to it'll be harder to do that because the stack will get bigger and bigger and it'll just be easier to fall behind. But I will always take late homeworks and take resubmissions and all that kind of stuff. So in theory, you can always get all the points on the homework if you're willing to just keep working them. That applies to all of you. Okay. Now I still have to explain. So hopefully that answers the question. And let me also remind you with all this participation thing that I still have to now explain where the points are going. Like Kristen just asked a really good question. Jasmine made a really good, admitted she was still confused, and stuff like that. People put in these things in the chat, which is good. So first of all, that all counts as participation, but also please remember, for example, if I answer any one of these questions and any one of you at any point in the class, either in public chat or in private chat says thanks, that answered my question, that counts as an example of closing a conversational path. So I'm skipping over to, you'll notice that under the participation, the game participation category of the Google Classroom, yes, every day is a regular everyday 5-point turn just for whatever normal thing you did that day. But there's all these other things that are all technically due December 1st. By December 1st, I just mean you have all semester to do them or not as you see fit. Again, I have to explain that more. You don't have to do any of this stuff, but if you want the points, for example, if ever you close a conversational path, if ever you asked a question, I answered it, and then you acknowledge that it got answered so that I could move on with my life or the class could move on. That's called closing a conversational path. You just find that portal that's open up in the Google and just jot down oh yes, today I asked you about the homework grading policy, but you did answer it. And I said, thanks. So thanks. And you just submit that and that's 7 points. It's due December 1st because that could happen at any time. It might not happen today. It doesn't have to happen every day. But if it happens, just use it. Or for example, just as a quick example, maybe I already said this, I apologize. But for example, wait, I had an example, where to go? Or maybe, wait, who? I thought someone. Well, for example, just an example, like Stephen is showing video, right? Today, he's showing video. That does not mean that the people who aren't showing video are doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that they're losing points, but he is showing video. That's very nice. He's showing it for right now. He might have to turn it off at some point. I don't care. It doesn't mean he's going to rob a bank or cheat or whatever. He might have to turn it off. It's fine. But as long as he had it on now, there's that portal that says video. I think it's called video. So he can just today screenshot or whatever, just write in I showed video today, submit that. Today, he gets points for that. If he shows video again tomorrow, he can submit again in the same portal tomorrow and get the points again. Any one of you. Okay, so every one of those things that's due December 1st is just a different possible way that people can participate, that if it applies to you at any time, just use it. Just apply for the points and get the points. As I think of more ways, I'll put in more portals. Or if you think of more, for example, somebody in the other, well, anyway, I think you get that point. Now, still what I haven't explained though is all of these points, whether it's for these participation things or regular homework, the hard, you notice the participation things are worth 5 or 7 or 9, but then these big homeworks, they start to be worth 20 or 35 or whatever. So what I still haven't explained is where do all these points go? Wait. Oh, no, great question. Sorry. Wait. Oh, okay. So I'm still sorry to take so long on this. I still haven't fully answered the question, but I'm seeing in the chat good things. And I always rather prioritize your questions over my. So like in Ashley's question in the chat, and all of these, notice these all count as participations. And also I should even open up a portal just for good questions. I keep forgetting to do that, but and also let me just make, with all those portals, you can and should double or triple dip. Like some of the portals could apply, more than one of them might apply to one thing that you said. You can apply it, and if you said something that fits like more than one portal, you can just keep applying it to for as many places as it gets points. But so Ashley's question, so after I grade our homework, you can fix your mistakes and resubmit for full credit? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. That is what I am saying. After I grade, first of all, after I grade it, you can, for homework, this is always true. For any homeworks. Now, it will get harder and harder to stay on top of things as the semester goes, but yes, for any homework, after I grade it, you can fix mistakes, you can resubmit and you can get all the remaining points. Yes. In fact, for example, the first couple of homeworks, you can even fix before I even grade it if you want. Once you learn something today about what I'm looking for, you totally can. I will also say, so with homeworks, you can submit as many times to get all the points that you want. I will also say, whenever you upload a new submission to homework, don't delete the old submission, please. Don't delete the old. Even if after today, when we get through today, if I ever get to it, if after today you look at your homework like, oh my God, I didn't think he was asking for all of that. Oh, that's what he wanted. I'm totally going to resubmit this and get all the points, but I don't want him to see what I did. I mean, I did it a different way. I don't want him to see that, God forbid. Okay, I get that. I mean, I get it, but don't erase your old thing. If you're really embarrassed by your old thing and you really don't want me to see it, just write a note, please only look at the second file and I'll respect it. Believe me, you see, I've got a family, we got 3 fish and a dog. Like I got other things to do. If you don't want me to look at an old homework, believe me, you don't have to ask me twice, but you should leave it anyway. Because really, if you're revising your homework, if you're going through the effort of doing one homework twice, oh, you want me to know that. You want me to see 2 documents in your file and be like, whoa, look at how awesome this person is that they did their homework twice. If you only want me to grade one, I'll just grade the better one. But okay, but so you can always resubmit and upload for corrections. We should think of everything as a draft in progress. So yes, you can. And with this one, you can do it even before I give you the grade. And you can always do it before I give you the grade. So that's number 1. Oh, gotcha. So where Ashley said, gotcha, thank you. Awesome. So that counts as close. So she can submit that for points that she just did that. Okay. Also, you swear? Oh, I swear, yeah, Ron's my favorite teacher. Well, you just got to Google points for that. I should open up a portal for effective flattering of me. No, but no, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I know you're kidding, but I appreciate it. Wait, do this one time. Hold on. So after you grade, so I'm just going through the question. I will, but I promise again, I will get back. If you're thinking there's no lesson plan, I promise there's a lesson plan. But the first plan is to meet your needs because you're the one paying tuition, not me. Wait, so after I grade our home, so now I'm looking back at the chat. I'm looking at Kay. Do we submit one time or can we submit documentation or participation? Oh, yeah. Wait, can we submit documentation of our participation multiple times within the same category? Oh, yeah. Right. You can, oh my God. You can submit multiple times within the same category and people do. Like, for example, if you're the type of person that shows video every day, yes, every day, you can go to that video thing and re-upload another screenshot or whatever. You can keep submitting a document and they'll just keep piling up and I will count them and I'll give you points for each one. Yes, like that's all of you. And the purpose of that, I mean, if something goes wrong, I'll let you know, but technologically that usually works. And the purpose of that is meant to be fair. It's like, you know, people have different things that they're bringing to bear on this. Some people are just all about like always being here on video. And after a while, like that means something that they're, anyway, you get my point. So yes, the answer is yes, you can and should. Wait, factual. Gotcha, thank you. Okay, someone's in the waiting room. Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Wait, did I lose someone in the waiting room? Sorry. I think, well, tell them to come back again. Oh, here they are. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, here they are. And here's my wife messed up. Is it bad to come through? Yeah, remember, that's very nice. So, okay. I think I got all those questions. Okay. No, and it's very nice, the nice things you're saying about me. I'm not sure that will always remain, but thank you. And so far, you are my favorite Physics 203 Fall 22 Section 1 class, I promise. Okay, wait, I'm going to get back. Okay, so I want to get back to how this grading system works though. So here's the deal. All of these points that I'm mentioning right now, all of these points for participation, portals, right? And all of they're both upstairs. And Dazzler did have an accident, but I cleaned it up and yeah. Okay. Oh, I am currently now, you know the expression in the doghouse? Yeah, I just wanted, all right. All these points for regular homework, physics quantitative homework that we're about to start going over in a moment, and all the points for participation submissions, all of those, first, let me remind you, they're all optional. In a sense, they're all extra credit, except that there's so many of them, it makes such a difference. It's sort of silly to call them extra credit, but they're all extra in the sense that you could take this entire class, never submit one participation portal, never submit one homework, and still, if you get a 95 on both exams, on the midterm exam and on the final exam, and you have a 95 in lab or like whatever, then you'll still get an A in the class. I just want to make that clear again. I'm not encouraging it. I don't think it's a great idea, and it doesn't usually work that way for most people. But anything we ever say about homework or participation, there's tons of points to be gotten, but they're all for you to get. I'll never remind you about it. Well, I'll never force you, blah, blah, blah. And I also won't at the end of the semester, if you write me at the end of the semester and say, what's all these game things? Can I still submit them now? Like the answer is no. And also that's a pretty strong indication you haven't been paying attention to anything. Like you don't want to be that person that on the last day asks me if you could submit all the participation things. Okay, because they're not required anyway. So I definitely won't take them then. Okay. So first of all these points are not required, but how do they work? They work like this. Every time you get a point for participation or homework, like for example, this homework that we're about to go over now, it's worth up to 20 points. Okay. Let's say you turned it in, and we're going to go over it now. And let's say I turned it back to you and you got a 15 on it. Okay. Now, first of all, again, you can redo and you can get the rest of the points if you want. But let's say you don't feel like it because a 15 is fine or whatever. You got other things in your life. If you get a 15 on that homework, the first thing I want to say is that is not a percentage. It's not a 75%. It's a 15 points that you got out of a possible 20. The 15 goes into a pile of points that is accumulating for you throughout the semester. It's the same one big pile of points for both the homeworks, the standard physics homeworks, and all this participation game stuff. It's just one big pile of points that's accumulating for each one of you, okay? And for some of you, it might be 0, but it's just one pile of points. By the end of the semester, each of you has this big pile of points. It's going to be a huge number for a typical average person. I mean, it'll vary for each person, but the typical person will have like hundreds of points in there. Okay. So what I do at the end of every semester, and again, I'll repeat this as we get closer to the semester, or when we have our first exam, I'll repeat this or once you sort of care in a different way, but you'll have this, like, say you'll have like 200 points in your bank and your friend only has 150, but you have 200 points. At the end of the semester, once all the grades are in and everything, and I'm looking at all the grades before the grades go on to CUNY first, I look and I come up with a scaling factor, a one number, a dividing number. Every semester, it's a different number. You'll see why in a minute. But it's the same number for all students. So I come up with a number, and there's a way that I come up with this number, but I have to see all the grades in order to come up with it. I come up with a number. Let's say the number this semester is 20. What that would mean is that everybody's big pile of points is going to be divided by the number 20. It's a scaling factor. So if you had 200 points built up, that pile would be divided by 20. Now, again, you have one pile of points, your friend has a different pile of points, but all of you will divide your points by 20. So it's like not, so it's a fair thing. So you take your pile of points, or I take your pile of points, or 200, I divide it by 20, that gives an answer of 10. 10 is now the number of points that I add to your exam average in order to make your final grade. Let me be more clear, because I didn't say, like, you will have had at that point, you will have had one midterm. I may or may not have said this Monday. I apologize. You'll have had one midterm exam, which will be like in late October. It hasn't been announced yet. We'll talk about it soon. Don't stress it yet, but you'll have one midterm exam in late October or so. You'll have one final exam during the final exam period. You'll have the midterm exam. You'll have one final exam. You'll have your final grade from Professor Walters, your lab, right? You'll have your final lab. Like, of course, there's tons and tons of things you'll do for Professor Walters in lab, but they'll all accumulate together into some system that you learn from her, that all in the end becomes some final lab average. So those three things. So in effect, first thing I'm saying is, in effect, lab ends up equaling about a third of your final grade. Like, it's important. Like, you do a lot of work for lab. So you have these three pieces: the lab final grade, the midterm exam, the final exam. Each one of those is basically not curved or anything like that. I mean, there could be extra credits and things. We'll talk about that. But basically, if those three numbers, they get averaged together to make one base exam average. Okay, so you'll have your base exam average, like say you got an 85, 85, 85. So you have an 85 average. What I'm saying is that's your base exam average is like 85, whatever, from those three pieces. Then the 10 points, for example, that you got from all of your homework and all your participation gets added to the 85 so that you now have a 95. Okay, and I see there's something in the chat. Let me, hold on, let me just, wait. Yeah. No, right, good question, Sarah. So I'm gonna answer Sarah's question kind of right now, I think. Like, so yeah, typically, so I'll finish. So this example that I'm giving right now, which I'm just about done with this example, and then I'm going to answer Sarah's very fair, very good question. This example that I'm giving now is a fairly typical example. Like you'll have a exam grade of exam average of, let's say, 85 or something. That's actually somewhat typical, I suppose. Then typically the typical person sort of in the middle of the road of the class will end up having around 10, 11, possibly 12 points added to their average from all the homework and participation they did. That's the typical average person. The super participating, super doing homework all the time person may have like 18 points added. The person who sort of like occasionally does homework or maybe occasionally does the game turns, but doesn't really participate any other way, or is kind of like has other things doing in their life, they might have like 7 points or something added to their average. But the numbers are, and yeah, my typical scaling number is around 20. My typical scaling number, yes, which I don't ever know exactly what it is until I see all the grades, but I come up with a scaling number that is designed to make sure. The way I come up with the scaling number is, I promise you, is not to hurt you, it's to help you. I come up with a scaling number that ensures that the people that did the best in the class will get A's. I mean, to be honest, it's like a curving mechanism. In that sense, the scaling factor that I come up with allows the homework and the participation to leverage all the other numbers in a curve. Technically, we're not allowed to do curves. So technically, this isn't a curve. But I come up with, but what I do is I look at all the grades, and whoever has the highest grades is going to have an A. And that doesn't mean they're the only one. Like, there will be a bunch of A's if we do this right. But I come up with a number that makes sure that if you did more than anybody else, how could you not get an A? Like, we're not comparing you to Moses. We're not comparing you to Einstein. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But so the typical scaling number is around 20 or something, because the typical number of homework points that you get is like 200 or something. And the typical amount of points that typically on average gets added to the testing grade is around 10, which means it literally changes your grade, or it raises your grade from like a minus to a solid to a plus to, it can raise it from a B to an A. That's on purpose, because I think that the homework and the participation matter that much. I'm almost done with this. Oh, good. Okay, thank you, Sarah. That just counted as closing conversation. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So cool. So I'm thinking. So thank you for thanking me. I think I'm almost done. That I'm thinking, at least from Abdel Raham and from Sarah, I'm thinking this is beginning to make some sense to you guys. Again, it's unusual. It's a little elaborate, but hopefully you see well, let me just finish the example and then I'll say my general remark. So you do all this homework and the participation, all the points get added up, then they get scaled down, they get added to your test average, directly added right on, and typically will be like around 10 or 12 points. It's typically designed to literally lift your grade like a full letter grade. That is the idea. And that typically does happen to people. Then I'll tell you right now, then when after that's done, like, so after you have your base grade and you have your, all your participation points added to that, then there's one more point that I can add either 0 or 1 to anybody I choose for overall citizenship and engagement. Any single person in the class, even after you like submitted for all those specific participation points, then, and this is like leftover from a long time ago before I had all these systems, but then I have 1 point that I can give you just for general participation in spirit. In other words, if I know you're trying really hard, you make it clear somehow all the time that you, like, I could just see that you're focused all the time and your homework is always in on time and something like that. You're always doing revisions, but somehow you just don't like talking and you don't ever want to show a video because it's not your personality, or English isn't your first language or something. But I can just see that you're taking the class super seriously the whole time, but somehow none of these other systems like really like paid off for you or something. I can give you 1 extra point for general participation as deemed by me. I can give you up to 1. I don't have to give it, but I can give it. And then after I give that 1 point, then that's your final grade. And that gets converted to a letter and gets submitted to CUNY first. I'll tell you right now what the purpose of that 1 point is. Sometimes people get it, sometimes people don't, but it's not a favoritism thing. I'll tell you right now what it's really for, why I still keep it in the books, in the syllabus, even with all this. Because after all is said and done, after all this crazy system, it's still possible for a person who worked really hard and blah, blah, blah. It's possible for that person to have like a 92.7 average in the class, or I should say, or a 92.47 average in the class. And we all know we're all scientists here. Like somewhere these things get rounded to some number of significant digits. Usually it's 1 digit after the decimal point. And if you have a 92.47 in this class, I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but especially in a science class, I've had the situation where I had the 92.47 or by the way, or the 72.47, right? And I'm right on the cusp. And the teacher, and I've done all this work and it was all stressful and blah, 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 blah. And I have a 72.47. And then the teacher or the professor is like, well, you know how significant digits work. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for you. If only you had gotten those other 0.03, then you would have actually had a C plus. But no, instead, you're going to have a C or like what, or you would have, I'm sorry, you would have had a C, but instead, wait, am I saying the right thing? Yeah, you would have had a C, but instead you're going to have a C minus. Or you would have had an A, but no, I'm sorry, because those 0.03, you're going to have an A minus. And that's how significant digits work. And we talked about significant digits in the first week of chemistry. So blah, 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 blah. And like, that 2 things happen when that conversation's over. 1, everybody hates everybody. And 2, everybody hates significant digits in science, which is not my goal. So what I'm saying is, if you're that person who has a 92.47, okay, but you've been showing up and doing your thing and being a good citizen and blah, 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 I'm going to give you a point for class participation so we don't have to deal with that nonsense. And so it pushes you over the cusp. And as they say in baseball, so that the tie goes to the runner, so to speak, so that you get the benefit of the doubt and we can be done and you can have an A and you can move on in your life. Okay. So, but then after all of that, that's how the whole system works. It's meant, the system is a little confusing. It's a little complicated. It's a little bit unusual. And I'm sorry to spend 2 days explaining it, but the reason for the whole system is not to confuse you or to play hide the ball. The reason for the whole system, as I hopefully said last Monday, and then we'll move on. The reason for the system is I believe there should be more than one legitimate path to a legitimate A. There's different ways to learn, there's different ways to engage, and therefore, there should be different paths to success in a class. So some of you can get an A in this class by just taking exams because that's the kind of person you are. And like you can ignore all the other nonsense. And once we get rolling, you will. And others of you are going to struggle on exam and they stress you out and blah, 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 but you're really trying hard and you're doing all these things and you're really learning physics, but you're just not exam takers or whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. And like, I see you too, is what I'm saying. And I've been both of those people in different circumstances, believe me. So the system is designed to allow you to get an A one way or the other or both. Okay. So now, sorry to take so long. I'm going to look in the chat. So we're going to start going, but then roll with me to the flip side. I'll say this too. With all of this, and again, I hope it's clear, and I'm not BSing you, and I'm not trying to make you, I mean, I hope you like physics. That is part of the goal. And I guess I'd rather you like me than not, but I'm not trying to fool anybody. So a lot of you can get A's in the class. I want you to get A's in the class. I don't have a limit on the number of A's, and I don't have a minimum on the number of F's. But I will tell you the reason I can get away with this system semester after semester, the reason I can get away with a system that looks so generous or compassionate or whatever is because I just also want to warn you right now, some way or another, because life is life and COVID is COVID and physics is physics. Some of you still won't. I mean, some people, and maybe they're not even here right now, some people will still struggle to complete the course. And we'll talk about that as we get closer. Some people will have to take the course again, and there's no shame in that either. And as long as you communicate with me, and I've had to take classes before twice, there's no shame in any of it. But the truth is there will be F's. I just want you to know. There will be incompletes, and there will be unfortunateness, and that also, and there won't be criticism of that or shame, but there will be, some of you won't complete the course for whatever reason. And we're going to do everything we can to prevent that from happening. And frankly, before I give F's, I generally give incompletes, and then we try to work things out and blah, blah, blah. But for whatever reason, some of you won't be able to complete the course or meet these needs or get the A. And I'm only saying that right now to warn you that, like I'm saying, as long as you do the thing I'm asking you to do, you'll be fine, but you do want to do it. And in the end, the last reason I'm saying this about that I mean, I do have people repeat this course and 204, and people do get F's and people do get C's. I mean, they do, not most. I mean, there's plenty of A's to go around. And I also don't want you competing with each other for the A. One person's A does not deprive another person of an A. I want you to work together. There's plenty of A's to go around. But I also want you to know that some people will get C's and some people will get incompletes that turn into WUs, and some people will get F's. And the only reason I'm telling you that now is not to shame any of you. And even if you end up being one of those persons and I see you again, I will work doubly hard to make sure that you don't have to take the class 3 times. And I will not look at you weirdly if you end up, or if you're here right now for the second time. But the reason I'm mentioning that some people will get F's and some people will get C's and blah, blah, is also so that all of you know that as you continue to do well in this course, if you do get A's or if you get an A at the end, it's not a gift. You earned it. Okay, it's not a gift because it was possible not to get. And that's the same thing with this whole degree that you're all striving. Don't get me started on this right now, but this degree that you're all working for is very hard. This program that you're in, particularly if you are a forensic science major at John Jay, but I know some of you are not. But if you're in this class, you're in a science major somewhere and your butt is being kicked every day. I know that. And you have friends in other majors who are out all weekend inviting you to things and you can't go because you're a science major and blah, blah, blah. And I know that. And let me tell you, it is worth it. And the reason it's worth it is when you get through this degree, it's the same thing with this class. When you get to the other side and you get the degree or you get an A from this class, you got to remember that some people didn't. You don't get it automatically for starting. You get it for finishing. And that's why it has value. And that's why the rest of the world knows it's not BS, whether it's an A in physics or a degree from John Jay Forensic Science or CMB or TOX, or you're from another school, you get this degree. The moment you finally get it, you might think, oh, well, they just gave it to me because blah, blah, blah. No, if you finished this class or this degree, you did something that some people did not do. Therefore, it has value. It was not automatic. It was not a gift. And that's why you deserve the job or the graduate school application or admission that you're going to get and all that stuff. I just want to make that clear right now, too, because I do want to make things as possible for you to get an A as possible. But don't think for a minute that means you're just automatically getting it, or that you don't have value if you get it. Okay. All right. Anyway. Okay. So I'm going to look at the chat. So we're going to go back to the thing, but let me just look back at the chat. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. Oh, no problem. Okay. Direct chat. Okay. Hold on. I'm just looking at the chat. Okay. God. Okay. Thank you, Sarah, for acknowledging that. And we're just going to get more and more, and everything I'm saying applies to physics 203 and 204. So even if we're taking time getting used to each other in these methods, they all apply to both. Okay. Got direct chat. Got you. No problem. I understand. No problem. Direct chat. Oh, cool. Thank you, direct chat person. Someone said something very nice. Speaking forever. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. No. And so since Emily went public, thank you, Emily, for what you're saying. I appreciate it. And good. Like good. I appreciate it. I don't know what to say. I mean, but as we all get to know each other better, you'll hear. I feel very lucky to be able to work with you guys in this job, in this place, in this situation, especially in these tough times. I think it's a total privilege for me to get to talk about physics all day with people like you. I mean it. And I've had to accomplish certain things to get here, but I've also definitely failed at things. I know what both feel like. I know what success feels like. And I know what failure feels like. And I know what it is like to feel like a failure, even while you're trying to succeed. So this is not BS. Like, I feel like my job is to help you guys along. Anyway, you get it. But so thank you for the thanks, but cool. Okay, good. Okay, the points make more sense. Thank you, Maria. Okay, good. Oh, I guess I know why I'm saying. So don't feel afraid if you have to ask for the explanation to get all this might make more sense or be more confusing in 3 weeks when you start getting numbers back. So you can ask again then when you start getting the numbers back. But okay. No, all right. As far as what Emily, I mean, yeah, I have to be careful to stay on topic here. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a wandering. But no, if you start, the one thing I plead with you, if you start feeling like you're doing bad in this class, reach out to me. Like, if you reach out too much, I'll let you know. If you start leaning on me too much, I'll let you know. But don't, you know what my 3 least favorite words in the whole language really in a way are when it comes to science, academics, relationships. Nothing freaks me out more than the 3 words, it's too late. Okay, I hate that. It's too late. If you think things are going bad, let me know. We're gonna postpone horror as long as we can. It took me a long time to learn some of these things. It takes people more than one. I do not believe that if you feel like you're struggling in this class, you should drop the major. No, this major is so freaking hard. Anyway, we'll talk about that more as we go. But no, I mean, don't. Anyway, all right. But you might be getting frustrated how long I'm taking on this. So okay, cool. Okay. No, cool. Yeah, and thank you for direct chat person. Believe me, we're gonna get back to this topic more. You guys, when I say it's a privilege to work with you, I'm not BSing. I know how hard you work. I know how hard. I mean, I don't literally know. I'm not you, but like your butts and your self-esteem and your clocks and your everything is being kicked 24 hours a day. I know that. And I'm part of I will become part of what's kicking your butt. But believe me, I know. And I believe that you spend a lot of time wondering whether this is worth it or not. We will address that more as we go on. It is worth it. It is, but nobody doesn't have crisis in this major. If you're ever looking around and thinking, oh, well, I don't belong here, I'm here to tell you, if you ever think you don't belong in this major, that's a sure sign that you belong in this major. Nobody gets through, I shouldn't say nobody, but almost nobody gets through this major without wondering whether they belong. And most of the people that never wonder that don't belong. They're crazy and they're scary and they're wrong. Like, they're coming across like everything's easy, but they're actually doing everything wrong. I mean, don't get me started on that. If you think you're not cut out for this, that you're probably a born scientist, like seriously. Okay. Now the grades. Okay. Now I should get back to this, but Miriam's question, where you see the grades, all of it is in Google Classroom. So right now, for example, the only grade that I've done is that very first game turn. And you should see that. If you didn't get it back with a number, then that's in, if you did it, the game turn number 1. If you did it. Oh yeah, okay, thank you, Christian. Okay, cool. By the way, okay, and so, and then there's a section in Google Classroom, I think called grades, where you can see all your grades accumulated so far. But for example, on homework 1 that you just turned in today, you wouldn't see a grade for that yet because I haven't graded it yet. But any grades that I ever do, they should come back to you directly through Google Classroom, and they should be being tallied in Google Classroom. In fact, I should even, okay, thank you, Kristen. Okay, and I'm getting worried that I'm not, oh God, we only have 20 minutes. I should get to the homework in a minute. But I know this is all very important. But 2 quick things on these questions. As far as grades, any grade that I ever do, you should be able to see in Google Classroom, and you'll see what's missing and stuff like that under grades. But the one thing Google Classroom doesn't do, it's not going to give you your grade as you go. Like Google Classroom doesn't know my whole system. So it's not going to be, so whatever it thinks, like if it says you have a 97% so far in the class, don't like pay too much attention to that. Just pay attention to all the numbers individually that Google Classroom tells you. And if you're ever worried about your grade, you can check in with me and we'll privately talk about it. But that's one thing. As far as the exams, very legitimate question, but I'm a little worried that I'm falling so behind now. So I'll get to that. The quick answer on the exams is what an exam looks like is 3 big problem sets put together. It looks like homework problems put together, which is why I want to start getting to talking about the homework. The homeworks are all practice for the exam. So everything I'm going to say in the next 20 minutes about how to do homework really is how you do the exams. But the exams are not multiple choice or anything like that. They're like long problems to be solved and to show all your work. And on exams, final answers do matter. I mean, they do. But the method for doing the exam is exactly the method that I'm about to teach you for the homework, okay? But we won't, oh, cool. Yes, I think what Jose is saying is right. Also, let me say quickly, and I'm aware of the time, I see the time is 2 quick things. For example, like, so Miriam had a very fair question about the grades, but then like Kristen, like, and also Jose, like tried to help her and answer it. Just note that counts. There's a portal for that. Okay, wait. So I see that, Jocelyn. Okay, good question. I'll get that in a second. But just note, there's a portal, there's a game participation portal called Multiplayer Co-op. You guessed it. It's like whenever you address anybody else in the group, whenever you try in any way to like acknowledge the existence of another colleague, which is what Jose just did and Kristen just did when they tried to answer, they should screenshot that and submit that for points in the multiplayer co-op portal. They can also submit it like other places too, but just as an example, like you get points for trying to address each other's needs. It's just an example. Now, quickly on Jocelyn's thing, then I'm going to shut this down if you don't mind. I'm going to, because I'm a little worried. I mean, these were all legit, but I'm a little worried that I'm going over time here. The truth about exams, we will talk about them in depth, but I don't, if it helps reduce your stress in any way, I haven't even announced the first exam yet. You couldn't know when it is if you tried, but it will be like late October. But I'm going to tell you right now, the exams are take home. You're going to have like a week to do them anyway, and you get a practice exam before you even take the exam. So there's more details to come, but just if that calms anybody down in any way to know, the exam, they're not under test conditions. Take home. There's no Zoom. I mean, there's no webcam or anything like that. And I give you a practice exam so you could see what the exam is going to look like even before you get the real exam. So we will have, they won't be they'll be hard. They are hard, but they're not going to be like a surprise out of nowhere. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jocelyn. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to start going over the homework. I'm going to tell you right now though, because I did take a little longer than I meant. I'm going to start going over the homework. I'm going to show you my 5-step method for solving problems, both on homework and for exams. This is not only what I want you to do, because I think it's good in the long run. I want you to do it even when you think the answer is easy and you can get the answer in 1 step in your mind. I don't care. I want you to show all this, particularly because what this is good for is when you don't see the answer immediately in your mind, which will soon start happening. This is a method for getting to an answer, even if you don't see it immediately in your mind. This is also my grading rubric. Okay, you're going to start seeing, like, if you get back homework and there's 2 points missing and it says like WIQ, you're going to see in a minute, that means that you didn't do step 2 of this method. I'm missing a step. please put that in. Okay. Now, again, on this first homework, even if you didn't do the first homework this way, don't worry about it. You'll resubmit it and you'll get all the points. Okay. I know you didn't know this until we were starting today, but this is what I'm looking for in the future. I'm going to try to explain it somewhat quickly now because I'm running out of time, but I'm also going to tell you this 5-step method. It's a 5-step method for doing everything. It applies to all quantitative solving problems. You can redo problem 1 and problem, you can redo homework 1 and homework 2 according to this, and you don't have to rush that, you can do it. But also, I do recognize that there's a homework 3 due on Monday. It's called Train of Thought. It's a longer packet. It has a lot going on. It's a packet. It has a lot going on in it. I'm just going to warn you right now. First of all, you're going to get a break Monday night to catch up and redo things. You're not going to have more homework due Wednesday. Okay. So yes, you do have another big thing due Monday. We're not going to get to be going over. I'll need time to catch up too. There's no way I'm getting through the next 2 homeworks in the next 12 minutes. I know that. So you're just trying your best, but homework 3, even though it's a little bit long, it's like a left turn. You might be surprised when you see it. It's not mathematical problem solving. It's like answering thought questions, reading things, answering thought questions, drawing diagrams. There's no right or wrong answers on it, really. It's more of an exploratory thing. So for just that, for train of thought that's due Monday, you don't really have to do this method as much. And there's multiple choice parts, okay? This thing applies to everything that's sort of more standard quantitative physics solving problem. The homework that's due Monday, just do, but do it on separate sheets, just do it on separate sheets of paper. And finally, if I don't get through all this right now, these 5 steps, please know all the 5 steps that I'm about to explain are in this PDF of notes that are about to go on the screen. They'll be dropped in your Google Classroom when we're done today. And also, just in case, since I'm going to be rushing, I wouldn't, the recording of this class will be dropped into Google Classroom, but the recording of this morning section is already on YouTube in the playlist for, you'll notice that there's a playlist for Physics 203, Fall 22, but I have 2 sections, noon section and afternoon section. You're always welcome to look like you're the afternoon section, but I would always encourage you, especially right now, I'm saying, if ever it seems like I'm rushing at the end or something, if I tell you, I think I explained that more clearly in the other section, I would encourage you at your leisure to just play the end of the other section or whatever, and look at this document that I'm about to drop in, okay? Because I do want to catch up with myself. So I just encourage you, you don't have to, but I encourage you to do that. Okay, now we've got 14 minutes. So here we go. I'm going to start explaining homework 1, number line. I'm only going to get to the first question. I'll tell you right now. The answer to the first question on number line, the answer to the first question is 21 feet. If you got 21 feet, then you get what's going on. You're not confused. You're rocking and rolling, and you can breathe. The answer to question 2, by the way, well, I should say technically, the answer to number 1 was distance equals 21 feet, or total distance equals 21 feet. That's the answer to question 1. The answer to question 2 is total displacement equals -9 feet. Okay, so if you got those answers, you're good. It means you know what's going on. And everything else I'm saying now is what I'm looking for how you explain these answers. Okay, you might, if you got them wrong, it's fine. You can redo. If you got them right, then you're good. Like you're where you want to be. Now I'm going to take 12 minutes to explain to you the thought process that you should want to write down to defend those answers. If you got those answers right, you might be thinking, I don't need a freaking thought process, yo. Like I saw them in my head. And good, I understand that. If maybe you didn't, but if you saw 21 feet pretty quick and you don't think there's a lot to say about it, I understand that. And again, there's no punishment. But I am going to say, if you got 21 feet as an answer for the first question, it's because you did do something in your mind. It's because you're smart. It's not because it's obvious. It's because you're smart. It's because you went through a couple of steps in your mind so fast that you think that they were just one step, maybe. But in order to have gotten 21 feet, I'll summarize right now, you had to, in order to get that the total distance equals 21 feet for the first question, you had to know what distance meant. You had to read that in the sheet. And you had to know basically, well, some things that I'm going to show you right now. So this method that I'm going to show you, you might think is a waste for easy questions, but I'm telling you, it's what I'm going to show you what to write down as to what your mind went through to get 2 easy answers. If you can practice writing down all these steps for the answers that you think are easy, then these are the steps your mind has to go through when you don't know the answer. When you don't know what to do, this is what you do. But you'll never know how to do this method unless you practice it with stuff that you already know. Anyway, so here is the 5-step method. Step for any problem, any homework, for the most part, any exam. Step 1 of the 5-step method. I'm watching the time. Okay, we got 11 minutes. Step 1 is DFP. Write down a diagram and fact pattern. Kind of like I did at the top of the number line sheet, right? I had a diagram and I had all these facts written. What you're going to do is you're going to make your own diagram. Even if I supplied one, you're going to make your own. It could be very similar, but you're going to make your own. If I didn't supply one, you're definitely going to make your own. So you make a diagram at the top, right? And then somehow you convey all the facts of the situation. You don't have to rewrite my paragraph. In fact, I don't want you to. But all the key facts in the paragraph, I want you to get across in your diagram. One quick thing, you'll notice it says down here, labels. It says at the bottom, labels. The key to a diagram is the labels. The labels should define all the constants and variables that are going to be used in the math. So anytime you use a V or a D or an X or something in the math that you're eventually going to be doing, we should know exactly what V or D or X means because it was a label in your picture. Okay, but anyway, the main thing is the picture gives all the facts of the situation, the givens. Okay, so first you put down the givens. Here we did. Okay, here they are. So here's my, again, I apologize, I'm talking fast, but I just want you to see. So I've given my diagram. That's step 1. Do it for every big problem. Then step 2 is WIQ. What is the question? Okay, you are now on your separate piece of paper where you're doing this homework or that you did, or on your separate Google Doc or whatever, or on your exam sheets, you're now going to go question 1. You're going to make clear what the first question is. You're not copying and pasting my type stuff. You're not doing this on my problem set. It's like an exam where you have like an exam booklet and then you have the separate sheets where you're doing your work. On your separate sheets, you're going to make the question clear. Honestly, to many of you, this will be the most annoying step. To many of you, this seems like some kindergarten picky thing. It is very picky, but it turns out this is among the most important things. You're going to make the question clear in your words somehow. It could be abbreviations. Eventually, it'll probably be math abbreviations. For example, if the question was, compute the instantaneous velocity at the 3rd second of the journey. If that was the question, you could write down something like at t equals 3, v equals question mark. Like it can be very shorthanded, but you've got to make the question clear. You're showing yourself and you're showing me that you actually know what the question is asking. So you do that. So I wrote down here, total distance for all 3 stages. Like that's me putting my own words, putting the question in my own words. Okay, that's called WIQ. When you hand in homework or you hand in an exam, if you put a diagram and then you just start answering the question, you'll see off to the right, I'll write -2 WIQ. That's what this means. It means this. It means I need you to show me the question before you proceed anywhere. This is where I'm super picky. I mean, I am. You'll have a million chances to get this right before anybody's punished, but this is what I'm looking for. So, and I found over 30 years of experience, it's crucial. I mean, I've got stories about people whose dissertations in graduate school were brilliant, except they forgot one thing, which was ever to make clear what freaking question they were trying to answer with their dissertation. So it all fell apart. Okay, whatever. It's an important science skill. So what is the question? Step 2, WIQ. So you do that. So there's the question right there. Okay, I know I'm talking fast. I apologize. It's 4:12. We got 8 minutes. Then step 3. And by the way, of course, for each question, like on this homework, for each question, there was a different question, question 1, question 2, but they all had the same diagram. So it's totally okay for each one of those questions. You can write like step 1, see above diagram. You can do that. And I'm not, anyway. All right. So now step 3, GDP, general definitions and principles. This is where you write something down that is true. Even before the question started, it was true, like a definition or a law. Something that is true in general in physics, in math, in the universe, even before we got to the specific question. So for example, here, the question was, what's the total distance, for the whole journey that the professor took? I know it was a hopefully pretty straightforward question for most of you to answer, but what was the purpose of the question? It was trying to test that you understood distance versus displacement, which the sheet just taught you, right? Like notice that the question 1 and question 2 were kind of the same question, except 2 slightly different words, but you get 2 very different answers because the words mean something different. So what we first do here is we put down a general definition or principle. In this case, distance equals total space traversed or total space accumulated for all the segments of time independent of direction. Now, I'm not saying you have to write that word for word. That's not like a dictionary definition. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's enough words to get across that distance does not care about direction. It's accumulating all the space that occurred in our journey. I'm making that clear. And last thing, notice I used a triple equal sign there. I want to tell you right now something that some of you know and some of you don't know. Very important in physics and math in general. There's 2 different types of, oh, sorry, no problem. Thank you for telling me, no problem, no problem. There's 2 types of equality. Like we're gonna get, all this is English right now. Believe me, it's gonna turn into stuff that looks more like math. That's what you're waiting for. This will all start looking much more mathematical very soon. It'll be all equations, but there's 2 different types of equations. There's a double equal sign, which means equal by circumstance, condition, or discovery. And there's a triple equal sign, which means equal by definition, necessarily equal. Like it couldn't be any other way. That's a subtle distinction that's really powerful in physics. So what I'm saying, and you'll get used to it, what I'm saying in step 3 is we're generally looking for a triple equal sign at step 3. What distance is, what the word means is the total space that was traversed or the total space that was accumulated. So we write that down in step 3. Notice we've now done 3 steps. We haven't even done a lick of computational work yet. But if you, and you might have written none of this down when you did the homework. I understand that. You might have written none of this down the first time you did. I totally get that. No shame, no punishment. But what I am telling you is all the stuff must have happened in your mind. If you got the right answer, your mind must have first clicked into what does distance mean? And then it applies in step 4. Now we finally get to step 4. PAW stands for particular application and work. This is the part that a lot of people think of as the work. This is where you start crunching the numbers and doing the algebra or whatever. I'm telling you, and this is the part where a lot of people say, oh, he wants me to show my work, so I'm going to show this. But then this is also the part where a lot of people say when they actually get to a hard question that they have no idea how to start or what to do. And I'm telling you that the reason people often don't know what to do with things that look hard is they try to start right from this. There's things that have to get set up and done before you even do the work. So in step 4, we're going to convert from a triple equal sign from some general truth down to a particular circumstance of this problem. Meaning in step 4, we're going to say, okay, distance in, like step 3 was distance in general. I'm looking at the time, we've got 4 minutes. Okay. In step 3, distance, we said equals in general, the total accumulation of the space. Like how much was traveled each time, regardless of pluses or minuses. So now I'm applying to this problem with a double equal sign. I'm saying in this problem, distance here happens to equal to the absolute value of -6, right? Because he went like from 4 to -2, I think. He went like that way. Then he went the absolute value of 6 again, like he went 6, then he went 6 again. And then he went all the way from 4 to -5, the absolute value of -9, right? Like somehow in your brain, even if you didn't write all this out, your brain had to do something like that. So it's 6 plus 6 plus 9 equals 21. That's the work, right? But that work was a particular application of a general truth. The general truth was written first, after the fact pattern, and after the question. So you have the givens, you have what's the question, what general truth drives this question, what particular application solves this question, and then finally, in step 5, FAC, like facts, step 5 is final answer circled. So finally in step 5, you put your final answer down as a complete thought, like referring back to the original question. The original question is, what's the total distance, right? Like the original question is, what is the total distance? So the final answer is the total distance equals, like double equal signs, like in this case, the total distance equals 21 feet. You have a number, you have units of measurement because it's science. That's your final answer. It's circled. That's the method. Now, I know I only got through one question today. it'll go faster and faster as we go. I assure you, we'll go faster and faster as we go. But I'm a big believer in the physics is about building the engine. Once you really build the right engine, it will go. And all the stuff that looks hard in physics is not hard as long as you really understand what's going on in the simpler stuff. Okay, so the class will move faster, I promise. And we will start going through all the rest of the questions. But this is the method that I want you to do for any question, no matter how easy or hard. You can redo your homeworks according to this. Don't worry if you didn't do it this way the first time. Also, if it feels like I took a super long time to do just one question, that's because I'm talking so much. It won't take you this long to do. I mean, it'll take you a couple more minutes than usual, but it won't take that long. All right, but that's the deal. Again, so redo anything if you want, or wait for the grade if you want. The only thing that's if you haven't done it yet, please do. Oh, I was going to acknowledge, and I know like 16 of you already definitely did ended in all the time. I see that. So don't think that if people didn't, that I believe me, I see those of you who already turned it in. But I think, okay, let me just, okay, I think, but, oh, sorry. We are, oh my God, why is this? Okay. Yeah, we're done. But as you, just to make it clear, this is how class ends. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you. I'm good if you're good, but I'm going to hang out till the last person goes, just in case there's any question or anything. So if you want to ask questions, feel free. But other than that, thank you very much. Oh, have a great day. Yes, have a great day. Thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good evening. Cool. Yes, have a great rest of the week. Have a good weekend. Absolutely. Awesome. Have a good day. Yes. Thank you.